what part of like Mutant Crawl Classics though came straight from like the heart inside kind of the rule book of like Dungeon Crawl Classics, and what was kind of what transposed from like Gamma World and all your experience that you wanted to bring?
The mixer for me was everything I imprinted on, which is I occasionally mentor younger writers and some artists. And one of my things when you're brand new, like, hey, this is something I want to do. I want to bust in and write for games. And I'm talking to you. I will remind people that what you have, Nathan, this goes for you too. What you have that no one else on the planet has
Yeah.
is your singular and unique silo of media that you've consumed that you can mix it, use as a big pot and mix and stir and pull out pieces to create your own new stuff. My laundry list is AD&D, first edition Gam World. It was very funky and bizarre. And as we've seen over the past 30 years or so, there have been a lot of different role-playing genres that have adapted the D20 engine, but the D20 engine isn't a match for all of them.
No.
Superheroes are tricky, horror is tricky. Maybe that's why Call of Cthulhu is a percentile system. Who knows? But uh, post-apocalyptic Gamma World is just D&D with ray guns and mutants and mutations. So it's a very simple hop and a skip over. And when I fell in love with Dungeon Crawl Classics, that's all I had to do for MCC. I mean, I certainly brought a lot of I'm a comic book fiend from the
Yeah.
70s on. I brought a lot of my Commandy Last Boy North. I'll tell people I was inspired by Commandy Last Boy North, but there's not one for one. It's not the same setting. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
Joseph Goodman himself, what he did with Dungeon Crawl Classics was brilliant. So my job was just to not screw it up. Does that make sense? The game mechanics,
Yeah.
the high risk, high reward. You might die. My very first DM in college, had us roll two characters up, and I'm like, "Why do I have to roll it two?" And he's like, "You'll find out." You know, that kind of here's four level zeros to take to a funnel, and instead of spending all weekend composing, your fancy Pathfinder character's background, why
Yeah.
not just play it out at the table? Because the guy who squeaks through will have a fantastic story, and you'll create it. Very attractive to my style of playing.
No, when I first started, it was, and I've said this multiple times, it was actually a jinx to write a backstory because usually they ended up dying within the first session or two, and then you wasted all that energy. I like to now have like a concept of like it's this character plus this character meshed together, and then I try to flesh him out as he goes, and if he dies, he dies. But I like kind of smashing things together and making its own, oh, recipe.
Well, that's almost my favorite thing in gaming, and that's not everybody's cup of tea either. Is the genre mesh is where it's at, man. That's how Gary Gygax did it. That's how James Ward did it, and it's worked out pretty good so far.